Alrighty. Well, let's get started. Let's get started. I seem low. Oh, the chair's tilted backwards. Let me just lower the camera a little bit. There we go. Perfect. All right. So, oh man. Oh man. Okay, let's go back to Oscar. Let's go Oscar. I completely had him on the secondary field that I wasn't even thinking about him for the longest time. I thought for the longest time that Oscar had this sort of time warp perception or the ability to connect to other realms because when the season first started, it was the fact that Osman kind of like woke up from the dream of the meeting that was taking place, and I was like, hey, what if he has this ability to connect to different places, different events, different things? And then he's like, hi there, I'm Professor Osman, and he's like, ah. So I was like, oh, Ospen's not dead. He's just in a time warp somewhere. But then we get some extra details as to what exactly is going on with this Oscar kid. And apparently they share the same soul. What does that even mean? I have no clue. But it is very interesting. Wow, I don't know why I started thinking about so many random different things all of a sudden, but I just started getting bombarded with all these things. I'll talk about them in a moment, but let's go back to Oscar and Professor Ospen. He asked, excuse me, he asked Oscar to describe the headmaster office in Haven. Now, from what I recall, Haven is the place to be. Everybody's going to Haven or Minstrel. Haven is the academy, Minstrel is the kingdom. The kingdom of Minstrel, right? Right? I think I got this. I think I'm there. I think Beacon is the kingdom of Vale. Atlas is the kingdom of Atlas, which is the defunct. Um, Dang it. The defunct kingdom of something. I think it starts with an M. And then you have Shade, the Academy of Vacuole, and I think Mistral is the Academy of Haven. No, Haven is the Academy of Mistral. Minstrel. Minstral. Minstrel. um, Mantle. Mantle is a defunct kingdom. Yeah. Ah, aha. I got it. Okay. So he asked Oscar Oscar and Ospen. Is there something there? Oscar, Ospen, Oscar. Is there something there? I don't know. But that soul sharing thing, that's interesting. It started making me think of a lot of things. But let me finish my original thoughts. I keep getting like so easily sidetracked with different things. Okay, so he asked Oscar to describe the headmaster office. I'm so sorry, excuse me. To describe the headmaster office of Haven. What? Haven? I'm so confused now all of a sudden. Beacon is in Haven. Oh man, names. Why are names my weakness? I can't get the names right. Kingdom of Vale. No, Beacon is in Vale. I gotta stop confusing myself. Okay, I'm there. I'm sticking with my original thoughts. He asked Oscar to describe the the Academy of Haven, which is in Minstrel. Minstrel. Yes, I'm sticking with that. So, is it? I can't stop. I can't stop. It's a brand new year, everyone, and I still have the same issues. But anyway, described the headmaster office. He was able to pull out information, and he's like, "Wow!" And the way he said the teacup set that I gifted him, he was talking in first person. But then when Ospin asked him to confirm it, Ospin himself was sharing thoughts that Oscar had. Excuse me. And then Oscar said, "That's right, I must have seen it in a picture book," but he was talking about it in first person. So clearly that's not the case. There's more to it than he's trying to deny to himself. He's in denial that this person that's now able to communicate with him are sharing the same soul. This just raises so many questions in my head. It makes me think about the Fall Maiden, Autumn, and the incident with Pyrrha, and how she was afraid that she wasn't going to be herself anymore. And it also makes me think of, honestly, it makes me think about the wizard story and how I was wondering and I was questioning where does what was it that I said? It was about dust and the original, the first people, and how the maidens, I guess, inherited their power. But now that we know that there's such a thing as soul sharing, makes me wonder because the wizard gave the maidens their powers. So, how can you, being, a wizard, first of all, where did you come from? Have you really lived all your entire life in existence? And, I mean, humanity, where did humanity come from? It came from darkness. Um, the creatures of darkness, I'm sorry, wanted to put an end to him and his creations. Um, but then they found dust and commanding the elements. They were able to push back the darkness and survive and light the way and build their cities. There's a couple of things that I'm not quite clicking as far as making sense goes. But and then all of a sudden Crow said, "What's your favorite fairy tale?" So clearly all these stories from the past have some relevance to the origin story of the RWBY world of Remnant. But for some reason, I'm thinking that the wizard shared his soul with the four maidens. Because if you can share between two people, why not share between more? Sharing is caring, right? Let's just give everybody a little bit of you, you know? All of a sudden, but however, now, but how was Ospen always sharing his soul with Oscar? Were they always synchronized? Or when Ospen did his time displacement, did he then vinculate a link with Oscar and synchronize their soul towards each other? And now I'm thinking about Penny for some reason. Penny. Penny was a machine that was able to produce an aura. An aura is a manifestation of the soul. Therefore, she had a soul. Oh man, I don't know what to make of this. I'm getting. It's like I feel like I'm trying to build a puzzle, and then right when I'm about to finish, somebody else just dumps another box of puzzles over me, and I have to like start sorting out through this all new information. um, I got this whole new array of things that are yelling at me, but I just can't quite figure out where they go at this point. So, so Ospin and Oscar are sharing a soul. We know that much. It's been stated. It's there. Obvious. How or why? Uncertain. It's possible that in the past, the wizard or the old hermit shared his soul with his powers and his abilities to the maidens as a way to give them a gift for the blessings that the maidens gave the wizard, which is a spring, winter, autumn, and summer. So there's four maidens, four gifts. So far, officially, we've only heard about two, as far as I remember, if I remember correctly, which is Autumn, which is the Fall Maiden, which is Amber, multiple names, and I think it was the Spring Maiden that Salem told Tyrion to go look for, but then they put that on hold. So spring and fall are the maidens that we are officially aware of, whose locations might be getting close to found. Summer and winter, surprisingly, share the same name as two other characters, but we don't know for certain if those two maidens are the ones which share the name with the other characters that we know. So there's that. There's that detail that might lead nowhere, but it's there. Um, Yeah. I have made more mistakes than any man, woman, or child that has ever lived. How old is Ospin? But I don't think making you a captain or a leader is one of them. Wow. There's something there. I'm not picking it up yet. But there's something there. What mistakes have you made, Ospin? Is your body dead, but your soul lives on? Oh man, oh man, oh man, the implications that I'm receiving from this. Who can soul? I'm gonna call it soul linking because soul linking sounds cool and it's from Ragnarok. I used to play Ragnarok. Soul linking. Who can soul link? How do you soul link? My heart, my heart wants to wish for the following. I don't have nothing to support it except my own wishful thinking. There is a chance. There is a chance, and I'm hoping this is true. There is a chance that maybe, just maybe, in the small speck realm of possibility, perhaps John and Pyrrha are soul linked. Now that might be the reason why Tyrion said, maybe you. Or at least that's what I'm hoping for. That's the only thing that I have right now with new information that establishes a reason why Tyrion might be interested in Jon. The fact that he might be soul linked with Pyrrha. And there is a possibility. Oh, but you know what's weird? It was Ruby that heard Pyrrha's voice. And actually, no. Who was it that was having the dark dreams in the darkness with the shade? It was Ruby, and she was hearing John's voice. But then we played it off as if it was Pyrrha's voice from the scroll recording. Did John wake up from a bad dream? Oh, I don't know. I don't remember that well. If it was John or Ruby, I know Ruby woke up. I'm pretty sure it was Ruby. John was already up and about. Duh. What if Ruby and Pyrrha are so linked? Done. And that's what enables her powers as the silver-eyed warrior. The fact that she's soul linking with everybody around her. Dong. Plot twist. All your souls are belong to Ruby. Alrighty, enough crazy theories. Hmm. I'll I'll go down a rabbit hole if I keep trying to make sense of the little bit that I have. But clearly, there is something there. I think I see it. I don't know how to put it together just quite yet. But there's something that's definitely captivating my attention that I should know by now. And it has to do, for some reason, I thought about the Wizard, the Maidens, Ozpin, Oscar, Penny, and now John and Pyrrha. Jown and Pyrrha. So it has to do with soul linking. What does these all factors have in common? The fact that we're talking about soul with each one of them. What else do these things share? Transcendence of time, perhaps? Because clearly Ospen and Oscar are now soul linked. Were they always soul linked? Not sure. But there is a chance that maybe, I don't know, but there's a chance that maybe Ospen has lived a very long time because of the fact, actually, yeah, this is possibly the reason. He's probably lived a long time because of the fact that he soul links when he, oh man, oh man, oh man, what if Ospen, the Ospen that we know isn't really Ospen at all? What if he's just another Oscar? What if Oscar is now the next, what's the word I'm looking for here? Surrogate, I guess you can call it, like host body for Ospen's soul. Maybe Ospen isn't really his name, but that's the last iteration that he remembers of his existence. What if Ospen is Ospen because that's the last body that he had? And then when Ospen died, he now goes towards Oscar. And Oscar is Oscar, but he hears Ospen's voice. But Oscar is Oscar. Oscar grows old. Oscar goes to huntsman school. I was going to say warrior school. Huntsman school. And then Oscar is now Oscar the Hunter. But then when Oscar meets an untimely fate and dies, he soul links to somebody else and he speaks to the person as Oscar because Ospen is Oscar because they share the same thoughts, but Oscar is the body. So they become assimilated as Oscar. And Oscar now talks to the new body as Oscar. Hi, I'm Oscar. I'm the farm person helper, Oscar. Nice to meet you. I also became a hunter, and good stuff. Oh, that's nuts. I don't believe what I'm hearing. I don't know what to do now. That's okay. I'll guide you through this weird process because it happened to me too. Okay, fine. And then he, which you're going to call him Omar, because, Ospen, Oscar, Omar. Why not? Let's follow the O names. Then Omar leads his life, is Omar, but when he dies, he will soul link to somebody else. And this person's name is now. I'm out of O names. Oscar, Ospen, Omar. I don't want to say Orlando, but that's the first thing that came to my mind. So Orlando now has the voice of Omar. And Omar has Oscar, who has Ospen. And who knows down the line what other people came before. So that could be a possibility of what exactly might be going on with Ospen and why he remembers that he has committed more mistakes than any man, woman, or child on this planet. I think that's what he said. And that brings me back to the connections of soul linking that I now have. That could explain the reason why Ospen has lived through such a long time. Now the question is, if it's the same soul, does it have the same aura? Does it have the same semblance? Is it time manipulation for Oscar himself as well? Will Oscar be able to manipulate time and speed himself up and slow himself down? Because if they are sharing the same soul, and aura is a manifestation of the soul, and every semblance is unique to each particular soul, then chances are they're going to have like the same set of tools and toolkit that comes along with having the same soul. This is crazy and pretty cool at the same time, if it's actually true. But that's what I'm thinking about right now. Um, so let's leave that there for now because it'll just keep consuming me and making me think about crazy things. But the Silver Eye Warrior is so linked to everybody in the world. But let's go to Weiss. All right, Weiss. Oh gosh, Weiss. You're gonna be fine. You're gonna be a-okay. Everything will be perfect. Hang in there. All right. You saw your exit. You saw the ships fly through your window. You remember what James Ironwood said to you. He said, "You always have a home." Especially when Beacon Academy opens back up. Was it Beacon? Yeah, we're excited for the new semester once we open that back. You have a place to go. You have Man, the dad is such a jerk. It's a manipulating father. Those kind of guys. Um, she called him out on it, and it's the family name that you married into. Ooh, yikes. It makes me wonder, is he the biological father? Because if he is, wow, serious family issues going on in the Schnee family. Um, Whitley is the brother's name. Not Wheatley. Wheatley is from from Portal. Whitley. Whitley. And that explains your faces. That explains your I don't want to say condescending, but your looking down upon attitude and the fake affection attitude that was there that always felt so odd. It didn't feel natural. It didn't feel sincere. It makes you also wonder why he wasn't mentioned up until now. Um, we know that Weiss had a sibling. I've always wanted bunk beds as a kid. Looking back way back in Volume 1. I've always wanted bunk beds as a kid. The only reason why you want a bunk bed is because you got somebody else in the house that you want to spend more time with. Um, but it wasn't really mentioning the brother. So, and here's what the father said. The father said, "You will renounce to your inheritance." So that's what Winter did. Winter renounced her inheritance. She said, "Nope, I don't want nothing to do with this nonsense. I'm out. Goodbye." And then the next in line is Weiss. Now it all makes sense how exactly was the things were happening. But the Jock, was it Jocks or Chuck? Chuck, Chuck, Chuck. It's not Chuck. It's Jock. Yeah, yeah. Names. Yeah. Okay. So Jock, Jock. Yeah. So Jock, Jock Schnee married. What's the mom's name? Mom Schnee. All right. And he's in charge of running the business. Mom Schnee just it's part of the picture, but she's not really operating the business. And chances are she has no sense of purpose and she doesn't know how to fix anything. Maybe she feels as a lesser person because she doesn't have control or feel like she can make any positive contributions or anything in the family because everything is being run by the controlling father husband, right? So her spirit might be broken. That's why she resorts to drinking in the garden early in the morning, and it's quite sad. So clearly, she was the entry point for Jock into the family. They had kids together. Blop, blop, blop. All right. Two sisters, one brother. Why do they stop at the boy? Because the boy is usually, normally, at least in our societal history back in the days, um, the son is usually the head figure of the family that inherits the father's business or whatever the family name, if you want to call it. Maybe that's why they stopped at the boy. That's just me putting pieces together with things that we have in our world. Universe comparison. But both daughters, based on the family picture and clearly from the interactions and clearly from the events of things that have happened and clearly from all the things and details that have taken place before us, are unhappy. The wife is unhappy, the daughters are unhappy, and then the son. I don't know if he's unhappy, if he's brainwashed, or if he's cold and indifferent. I don't have details about the son just yet. Whitley. But clearly, he wanted this to happen. Why? Why? Why didn't he go to huntsman school? Because you don't disobey father. Why didn't he do his own thing? He didn't have the pressure of the company on his shoulders at the time. Wise had that pressure. Perhaps that's why the father went to pick up Weiss, because Weiss was, well, let's be a little bit more human beings here. Weiss is technically his daughter, and no matter how business enterprise oriented you are, you still have to have some sense of humanity and for your own kind, or not kind, for your own kin, and care about your blood. So that's probably why he went to pick her up when the whole thing took place. But it doesn't stop him from using Wise as an asset and a tool to help show the world that the Schnee Dust Company stands behind the victims of the terrible catastrophe that fell upon Beacon Academy and the Kingdom of Vale. Hmm. Hmm. So Whitley doesn't have anything neither. But I believe that he was the favorite of the father. Perhaps the father, Jacques, perhaps Jacques was disappointed with the females in the family. Perhaps he saw the wife as weak and flaky and unable to handle adversity or difficulties, you know? And maybe he felt that this behavior was going to be shared with the daughters, both Winter and Wise. And maybe that's why Winter went to the military academies and became an officer in the Atlas military, because perhaps she was proving a point that she was not weak willed like her mother, that she was different, that she was stronger, that she was better. And maybe that was a reason that may have launched her into joining the military, to prove her worth, metal her salt, so to say. Wise, however, might have been a bit different. She remembers how the company was run when grandfather was still around, but once father took over, shady deals, morally gray areas. So she wanted to salvage the Shani name. But she had her own will, and she wasn't following father's instructions, and that made father upset. So then father turns to the boy. You will not be like your sisters. I will shape you into the creation and person that I want you to be. You will lead my legacy. You will carry forth my wishes and my will. That's what I'm thinking may have happened to Whitley. He was brought up, molded, and created into a representation of the father. Hmm. But that's okay. That's okay. You know why that's okay? Because we all know Weiss. And Weiss has a very strong will, and she has a very strong spirit. And even though she may have been intimidated and I don't want to say coerced, but she felt a lot of pressure and was forced into things that she might have not wanted to do. But she's getting close. I just remembered the song. There's a point where it tips, there's a point where it breaks, there's a point where it bends, and a point we just can't take anymore. Oh man. It's all coming together. I'm telling you, this is so good. Pretty soon, I'm certain, I'm so certain about this. Either she wanted to go, I want to leave. You're not going anywhere. You're grounded. Meh. I'm a huntress. Doesn't matter. You're still my daughter. Bleh. Don't take it wrong. I mean, I'm not disrespecting parental authority here. When parents need to ground their kids, absolutely. Without grounding and correction towards growing children, you get a lot of trash kids nowadays. And it's unfortunate. It's not the kid's fault. It's unfortunately the parents' fault. But you know, God, I don't want to open a huge can of information to make sure that I cover everything the way it needs to be. So I'll just give you the basics. Slapping and hitting kids is not really necessary. There are ways to enforce good behavior and corrective action with other methods than physical, corporal punishment. And reinforcement in positive areas is very important. And What else I want to cover so I don't leave anything here in the gray, shady area? um, and it's important to discipline children. There. And that's the last thing I wanted to say. Because if you don't, honestly, children that are just left to do what they want to do are those kids that disrespect their parents, do what they want, and if you're constantly telling the kid, like, hey, stop that or you're going to get in trouble, you're going to get in trouble, you're going to get in trouble, and trouble never comes, those are kids that realize that the parental authority is empty and hollow and has nothing to support the claims. And that's a huge trouble with kids. And I see it a lot in our world nowadays. And it's a big issue. People have children without knowing how to have children. There's no parent manual. There's a lot of resources, but there's no manual for parents on how to be a parent effectively. Sorry. Way off topic. Let's go back to Weiss. So, you know, pretty soon, Weiss is getting close to that breaking point, that tipping point, and she has her exit. She knows she's welcome at the academy, and I didn't understand why she moved furniture in her room. Was she blocking, barricading the door? I don't know if that's what she was doing, but she moved furniture around. She was rearranging. Time for change, make some change. You want you want things to change in your life, you got to change things in your life. Um it's coming. Weiss's what do you call this? Vindication? Weiss's vindication is coming soon. A name that you married into. Yikes, that's harsh to tell your father, your biological father. Yeesh. But hey, that's what's going on in this family. Um, so that's that. Let's leave that there for now. We'll put more pieces together as they come along. So we have Oscar, we have Weiss, and then lastly we got the fight scene. It was a fight scene. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. I was thinking at the end, that's why I said, hold it and slice. I thought that Crow, his hand was like perfectly distanced to just wrap around, hold on to the tail, and with his other hand and his weapon slice it. But instead, it was Ruby with her scythe that came in and neutered the scorpion. Oh, that was actually quite satisfying. Um, which was weird though, because that was like bulletproof to a certain extent. It was deflecting a lot of Ruby's sniper rounds. Um, but hey, maybe he still had aura. There we go. And his aura was blocking off the hits. That's exactly what happened. And yeah, because he came out of the building and his aura was depleted. Or at least it was like, fluctuating, just like Crow's. Crow's was fluctuating, his was fluctuating. Crow's last name is Browin. So that must mean that Raven is also Browin. And I think I may have read this in the comments as well. Browin. So now hopefully that name will stick with me more often. um da 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 da. What else? What else? What else? She'll forgive me. She'll forgive me. And then he left. Crow was scratched at the surface, but I assure you, I'm almost certain, 99%, that he's been poisoned. And he's gonna. He's not gonna die. That's Crow we're talking about. He ain't gonna die. but he's gonna have a bad time. He's gonna have a bad time. So, so Crow's been poisoned, even though they're not really making a big deal out of it. I'm sure it's gonna come up later on. Um, what else happened in the fight scene? Ruby, get back. Get back, Carl. Get back. um, no, this is my fight too. You want to get taken? No. She fought. Anything interesting? Da, 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 da. Clearly, the difference in combat skill level is clearly visible. Tyrion has no problem pushing away students, but Crow kind of like levels the playing field with him. And he said it himself, a true huntsman enters the fray. So that's something to keep in mind. Despite that they're pretty good and pretty hardcore, they're still students, so we got to keep that in mind. What's your favorite fairy tale? Basically, what's going on? Well, what's your favorite fairy tale? Because all these fairy tales are true. That'll start answering your questions. So that's the message that I got from that comment at the end. And speaking of the end, let's leave it here because I'm running out of things without delving too much into crazy thought process. So let's leave it here. Time recording has been over an hour and we're still okay, so that's good. That's real good. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you so much for watching. I greatly appreciate all your support, everything that you do. And you guys are awesome. Thank you. So until next time. Oh, again, Happy New Year. And may the 2019 bring all of us amazing, great things that we all wish and hope for. And that we have the energy, courage, dedication, and enthusiasm to not encourage, but what's the word I'm looking for here? To allow us to seek out these things that we're looking for in our lives and be able to achieve these goals and accomplish them. New Year's resolution, everybody. I got mine. So let's go out there and get them. So let's leave it at that. Again, thank you so much for everything. You guys are awesome. And until next time, take care and bye-bye. ふわふわふわふわふわふわりくるくるくるくるくるくる回るのふわふわふよふよふわふわりうるるくるくるふわふわ飛び出したの